Welcome. In this video, we are going to discuss about how to prepare and write the Central University's Common Entrance Test to get into MA English. I know many of you dream of getting into a Central University and studying MA English, which is a wonderful dream and it will be a wonderful experience in your life, and I wish you all the best. Before that, whenever we write an exam, we must know about the syllabus and how to prepare and where to focus on. It's very important from which area most questions will come and to prepare for that. So what we are going to do is, I have divided this video into 3 parts. In the first part, I'll set the agenda. Agenda means what you will get if you watch the video till the end. Secondly, we will just run through the syllabus. And thirdly, we will go into the previous questions and we will get an idea how the questions will be asked. And I'll also tell you how to prepare. There are 2 ways to prepare for this, which books to prepare. If you have a long-term goal of becoming a professor or teacher like that, or if you have just a short-term goal, okay, both ways you can prepare. I will tell you that. So this is what we are going to do. In the first part, why we are doing this, this is to give you a better understanding about how to write this exam, as I told you. Secondly, why am I doing this? Actually, I get many requests from my students, sir, how to prepare for this. So this is a kind of dilemma for them. So I want to help you if you are a beginner, if you are new, and if you don't know, and if you cannot afford to get into high costly coaching. So, and the third part is that we will be just going through the syllabus. As you know, syllabus is very important, and the question papers. And what will you get? You will get a clarity on how to prepare for this exam. And certainly you can improve your chances of getting. And finally, who am I? If you don't know me, I'm Pradeep Hariharan. I'm an assistant professor of English, and I'm on a mission to create an impact in the students, graduates, and postgraduates who want to be future teachers like me. So before that, when we start the class, I want to thank you for being here with me. Thank you for finding me on internet. And first part is syllabus. We will just run through. Second, we will go to questions. So what is the syllabus looks like? If you go to the website, you can see that there is a 2-page syllabus. And 7 portions are given, 7 main portions. And 3 of them are very tricky and vague. Not 3, 4 of them, 3 of them are really sharp. For example, these are the 7 areas you have to study. The history of English and Indian literature. History of English in literature means it's a vast area. If you, for example, if you look at that, history could be like this. These are the 2 books which covers the history. Or it could be a small book like this. So ultimately, that is really vague. There are a lot of things to study. Secondly, Indian English, Indian writing in English. Again, a vast area. Then we come to literary terms, where they have specifically given 23 terms. For that, you need a book known as this one, a glossary of literary terms. Remember, this is not a sponsored video. I get no money from any of these book publishers. These are like a Bible. This is a must book which we recommend to all students, a glossary of literary terms by M.H. Abrams. I repeat, I get no money. This is to give you information. And comparative literature and translation studies. Again, a very tricky area because it's very vast. And literary criticism and theory, it's specific. We have 6 areas to study. And awareness of current literary trends, events, and awards. So this is how it's structured. So in this video, we are not going into that area. Maybe in another video, I will focus on what are the important writers, works. I request you to go to the syllabus and get an understanding of that. And before we move on to questions, there are 2 ways you can prepare for this exam. First one is a traditional way, which I recommend if you have a long-term dream of becoming an assistant professor or teacher in English literature. Because if you go the traditional route, it may sound a bit difficult, but you will get a very good foundation. And this is the first entrance you are writing. Next, you will have to write NET exam. Then you will have to write many teaching exams to get into. So consider this as a journey. So I seriously recommend you to go the traditional way. If you want to study the traditional way, you have to pick a history book, history of English literature book, any book, and you have to go to the back side, on the index side. And when you browse, you can see that close to certain authors, many page numbers will be written. That is an indicator that that author is very important. So you have to take that author, note down, and you have to go and study about him. And you have to pick M.H. Abrams' glossary of literary terms. Again, there are 23 terms given. You have to go to each one of them and study them, make notes and study them. If you can really do that, I promise you that will be a long-term goal. Or you can simply pick any of these books like that. I'm not showing which book is that. This is prepared specifically for this. Again, I haven't shown you who is the author, but you can take a book and study from cover to cover. Remember, in my case, it worked, both worked 50-50. For example, when I was preparing for the NET exam, I bought a book from the market, studied 1,500 multiple choice questions, attempted the test. I didn't get it. That was in 2004, remember. Then I again bought another book, studied 5,000 multiple choice questions, attempted the NET, and only 7 came out of that 5,000 questions. Then I realized that this is not going to work. So what I did was I studied in the traditional method. I put in some effort, I took a history book, I took glossary, and I studied it, and next time I got the NET. When it comes to the CET exam, state eligibility test, I bought a book from the market, just studied some 900 or 1,000 questions, went and wrote, I got it. So in my case, it's 50-50. So still, I think I reached it today because I went through the traditional pattern. So I request you to try. Now we go on to the third part, which is a very important part. That is the question format. Let's see. Okay, in this part, we will be discussing about the questions. As you know, there are 100 questions you have to write, and 25 of them are from general intelligence and numeric ability, and 75 from English. So as you know, every correct answer gets 4 marks, and every wrong answer will take 1 mark away from you. If you look at the previous percentiles of many central universities last 2 years, you can see that it comes around 28 to 30 percentile. That is, you have to be ahead of 70 percentile of students to get into a central university. That is, you have to be 70%. So we don't know the kind of difficulty of the exam and how many students how many questions are attempted. So since it's not a percentage, it's percentile. So in my judgment, when I went through, what I realized is that out of 75, you have to get something close around, we'll speak of 100. You have to certainly score more than 60 to 65 to stand a chance. It's for certain. If you score below that, your chances are shaky. It's what you may call, what I learned personally by going through. In certain universities, it may vary, but if you want to get into a best central university, certainly you have to score more than 65 of them correctly. So actually, when I looked in the first part, it's somewhat okay. Out of 25, with your knowledge, with your intelligence, you can score up to 20. But when it comes to English literature, that is where we have to sweat. We have to put some effort. But don't worry, we'll look at the questions, how they have asked. If you see previous question papers, you can see that close to 18 to 20 questions are asked from the first part of our syllabus, that is History of Indian English Literature. That means 20 questions mean 80 marks. Okay. And secondly, if you look at that, Indian writing in English, the second part, from there, some 15 to 60 questions are asked. Okay, and if you look at the third part, which is literary criticism, some close to 12 to 15 questions are asked. And linguistics, some 7 questions. So when I looked at closely, I felt that some 50 to 55 questions are asked from the major 3 areas, that is history of English literature, Indian writing in English literature, and literary criticism and theory. Other areas comprises for the rest of the 20. So if you really focus on these 3 areas first and move on to the other, that will be good. Okay, but you can do the otherwise also. Literary terms, there are only 23 of them. Literary genres, only 12 of them. If you study, you can score in that manner. It's up to you. But I would suggest always go for the lion's share. Okay, so what are the questions asked? Some of questions are really direct. Remember, nowhere Central University exams go deep. It's all in the peripheral level. For example, sprung rhythm is associated with which poet? Direct question. The concept with which Bertolt Brecht is associated with? Again, direct. Name the floating island in Gulliver's Travels. That is a specific question. You know, we know Gulliver's Travels, but the floating island. Then 4 poets' names are given, and you have to identify who is not a metaphysical poet. Then there is a quote from The Tempest. That part is a bit difficult. If they quote from a poem or a drama, sometimes it's very difficult to guess. But here they have asked a very easy one. Then another question is a simple one. Who is the narrator of the novel Heart of Darkness? Then another one I found a bit difficult. 7 deadly sins appear in which play? That is, it comes in Dr. Foster's, and even which we are not that much aware of. Then direct question, who is known as the father of English essay? We know. Then this I found difficult. Which poem is not written by John Keats? So 4 poems are given. One is an odd one. You have to find out. So in that area, you must know about most of the important poems written by John Keats. Then another one is difficult. Arrange 4 plays of Shakespeare. Shakespeare has written 37 plays, and so you must know the important plays, and you must know in chronologically arranged manner. Then a simple question: who wrote Robinson Crusoe? You know that. Then identify the odd one out. There are 3 questions like that. So they will put maybe in one case they had put 3 romantic poets and a neoclassical poet. Then you have to identify that. So that is a tricky one. Then birth year of Shakespeare, direct question. Then there is a line taken from a poem you have to identify. Then that simple question, romantic period. So the year Bible got translated. So if you can see that some questions are very direct, some are bit in depth. So what you need to do is you must know about the writers and the period in which they lived, and you must know about their important books and something more extra about the important books in order to score well. Then you come to interwriting in English. Who is known as Nightingale of India? Direct question. Then another one, even I don't know, bi-monthly journal name published by Sahitya Academy. So then the year of publication of the novel Train to Pakistan. How many languages are there in the 8th schedule of Indian Constitution? Direct question. Father of Indian cinema, the year Tagore won. These are director of film. Then Kamala Das poems line. Then author of Hayabodhana. So towards an aesthetics of Dalit literature written by Cooley, year of publication. So then a funny question, they have Mahatma Gandhi's autobiography is correct name. So they have written My Experiment with Truth, My Experiments with Truth. Similarly, 4th thing, it's a tricky question. Then Annihilation of Caste was written by first Jnanpith Award. So you can see that some of them are general knowledge type. Some of them go in depth, but when you compare to English, history of English literature, Indian literature questions appear to be easy. So you have to look at the 20th century major writers, then you have to know about their works and the author. Then you come to literary criticism and theory. There you get some difficult questions, to be honest. The theory of sublime is associated with, that is Launchinus. And from Matthew Arnold, which rasa is not suggested in Natya Shastra, again Indian aesthetics. Who proposed to Vakrota? It's a direct question, but again from Indian aesthetics. And who is the author of Understanding Fiction? Tricky one. Louis Althusser's ISA Stanford. Who is the author of Dramatic Voices? So if you can see that area, theoretical concept of hegemony, avant-garde or phenomenon, it looks a bit difficult, but I request you, literary theory, only 6 of them are there, not 6, more than there. Just go through, browse through glossary of literary terms, you will get an idea. Then some questions are asked from linguistics. Actually, linguistics is not in the, what you may call, in our syllabus, but they are asked. So I think now you got an idea of how to approach this. You got an idea about the syllabus, how the questions are asked, and how to study. And I request you, don't worry, okay, you will get it. The only thing is that it's not going to be that easy. You have to put in some effort. If you do the effort, you will get there. So grab a history book, go to the back and start studying. Or pick a book from the market, trust the book, read from cover to cover and study. Whatever be the method, prepare well, and I'll see you in another video. Until then, thank you very much for watching till the end. Bye-bye.